My name is Steve Bolen. I'm a deputy district attorney here in Contra Costa County, and we're excited to once again host in person. Again, this is our second year since COVID. We've been able to get it all together and honor the important victims and witnesses and support people who help us bring justice to victims and survivors and their families. To kick us off, I'm going to introduce our Assistant District Attorney, Alana Matthews.
Good morning. It's so nice to see everyone here. Again, I'm Alana Matthews, and I'm an assistant DA here. On behalf of our district attorney, Dinah Becton, we want to welcome everyone to this year's ceremony. And for those who don't know, since 1981, we have been observing National Victims' Rights Week in the month of April. And this year's theme, if you've seen the poster or gotten a little card that our victim witness unit has passed out, you see that the theme for the 2023 observance is Survivor Voices Elevate, Engage, Effect Change. And that theme is meant to help create a space where survivors have their voices amplified, and they are in an environment where they can be heard, supported, and most importantly, believed. So with that, I want to say that today's observance is in order for us to do that, but also to commend and honor the extraordinary survivor voices that you will learn about today and our partners in survivor-centered work. So on behalf of our District Attorney, Dinah Becton, welcome and thank you to all of our honorees today.
Thank you, Alana. Thank you, Alana. It's a little difference in the microphone height for me. Sorry. Okay. A couple ground rules, just so you know. We're going to have some people come up and speak, and we're so excited to honor those that are going to be honored today. But just so you know, someone may want you to speak, so you don't have to have anything prepared. But especially my law enforcement friends, you may have to say a few words. So get yourself psyched up for that. Okay. All right. I want to introduce next our Victim Assistance Program Manager and the person who helps put this all together, Shannon Mahoney.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being here for our 2023 Victims' Rights Week recognition ceremony. I want to take a minute before we get to some of our speakers to give some acknowledgement to our victim witness team. Our victim witness team in this county for the Contra Costa DA's office, there's about 24 of us now. And this is a group of incredibly dedicated, compassionate, caring advocates that go the extra mile to try to make a difference in the lives of families and survivors of violence in our county. They take on a lot. They have massive caseloads, and they're really here because it's who they are in their hearts, and it shows in the work that they do. This is a team that comes together and tries to connect at every level with our survivors. Sometimes it might be one member of our team. Sometimes you get a whole army of victim witness advocates there with you on a difficult day. And so I wanted to say if our victim witness team could just stand up for a minute and just give them a round of applause, the ones that are here. They take on a lot. They help carry for our survivors a lot of pain, a lot of grief, a lot of anger, a lot of sadness. And they help carry that for people so that they don't have to carry it themselves. And it takes a toll on them. And they come back every day and they do it again and again and again because it is who they are. And they want to make sure that our survivors and our families don't have to walk that path alone. And the comfort that they offer makes an immense difference for families. And they really do elevate the voices of survivors. We have somebody very special with us here today who I get to introduce, and she's going to come up and talk to us a little bit about her experience. Her name is Karon Green, and she lost her son, Lamarcus, in a drunk driving crash in 2020. I've gotten to know Karon over the last 3 years, and she really embodies what our theme is this year. Because what I've come to know about Lamarcus over the last 3 years is that he was smart, talented, funny, and really in a lot of ways, he was a hero for Karon. And the loss for her was immense for their family. And what it meant to have our DA's office come together, oftentimes Karon was at every court hearing. And she came from a place that was difficult to make it through. And I want to say that there were multiple attorneys in this office who came together. We had a difficult sentencing hearing in December. Our drunk driving crashes are ones where the laws don't align with the harm that's caused to these families and survivors. And that's a hard thing. And so having our law enforcement partners, our community-based partners, our prosecutors, our victim advocates, when we went to the sentencing hearing, usually you have a prosecutor that's standing up there. Matt Karon was there that day and really tried to take the time to give a voice to this family, to Lamarcus. And before that, Nichelle Holmes had had this case and had spent time with Karon, spent time with family. And when it came to the sentencing, it wasn't her case anymore. But Nichelle came anyways, and she said, "When is it? I'm there." And she didn't have to be, but we actually had 3 prosecutors, including Nichelle, sitting in the audience, just sitting with Karon. We can't affect always what an outcome might be on these cases. But along with those 3 prosecutors, we had about 6 victim witness advocates there, just trying to make sure that this family felt heard and valued and seen and supported. And while the outcome was tough on the case, that's what this office can bring for people. It can elevate the voices and engage in a way that makes a difference for people. So there's something Karon says. I've heard her say it quite a few times. I should have brought tissue. I've heard her say it quite a few times over the last 3 years when she's talking about Lamarcus. She says, "His absence is so loud." And every time I hear her say that, it makes me take a moment to think about what that means. And it means that it takes over everything. You might see our survivors around in court just trying to make it through, and they look like they're doing and handling things okay. But in the background is that loudness, because the loss takes over everything. And Karon has really become, to me, somebody that Lamarcus was a hero for her. And now that Lamarcus is not here and Karon's had to go through this terrible tragedy, I've seen her turn into a hero for Lamarcus. Because no matter how hard it was, Karon was there. And she spoke up and she shared her thoughts. And she really, for me, is affecting change for survivors. And so, with that said, I want to introduce to you all Karon Green, and she's going to take a little time and talk about her experience and what she's doing and who Lamarcus was. So thank you so much.
Hello, survivors and saviors of the Victims' Rights Recognition Ceremony 2023. I'd like to say thank you to Shannon for asking me to attend and speak on my experience as a survivor who has lost her son to a drunk driver and how it has affected me and my family. How this tragedy, this whole tragedy, the whole process of this justice system for my son, Lamarcus DeMarie Smith, has impacted me. You know you're never supposed to bury your children. It's not the natural order of life. They're supposed to bury you. So I promise you I wasn't at all prepared to send my son to glory at the very young age of 23. From the beginning to the end, it has been like a living nightmare. Wide awake from him coming up missing to my notification during COVID. It was tragic. For me getting his body at CP Bannon, it took forever before I could even see him after he passed away. To the devastation of calling in the morgue and finding out, going, Lord, please, I just got a call to make sure he's not there, and to find out that he was. I was just absolutely devastated. Adding to the trauma of losing him in such an unfortunate manner, the girl who was responsible for killing him fled. So now it became about catching her. Then after she was finally caught, after about a year to the day, it was about justice and a speedy trial, and of which I got neither. I promise you my son's life was worth more than 265 days in county jail to be served as double time and be released 4 months and 2 days after her sentencing, which I should have been notified of, and I wasn't because there was something wrong with the computer system. So I was married March 31st. Same day I claimed my son's body, by the way. She was released March 30th. I found out 2 days later by mail. If it wasn't for Shannon, she said, yeah, I think she's out. I'm going to check and see. Karen, she's out. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't even know. I'm so grateful for your team, because once that trial was over, I had nowhere to focus my anger, my pain, and my grief. So, facing that deafening silence was very difficult. And if it wasn't for the Victim of Crime Advocation Program, I wouldn't be standing here today. I promise, like, this broke me. And you guys are very slowly putting me back together. And for that, I'm very, very grateful. My son and I survived a very abusive relationship for 20 years. He got bigger, he got taller, he got stronger, and he got protected. And he'll tell you in a minute, I don't play no games about my mama. No games, no games. He was joined at the hip. He was my family's spirit. And now that he's gone, the shambles that this lady has left behind, it's just ridiculous. Once I realized she was out, my question was how can I get her in some type of way, you guys? Like, she has to be held accountable to find that even her restitution isn't compensated by the state to be reimbursed by her. So if she doesn't pay, she'll go back to jail. I said, I can't win. So now I'm just knowing that that's out of my control, just trying to figure out how to breathe. And with my grief counseling and my psychiatrist and my team, it's helping me get back to where Lamarcus would want me to be. Even though it's a struggle, it's glad to have somebody holding me up and seeing me through. So on every day, I'm grateful. I can call Shannon at any time. She'll call me when work hours are over. When she say, Karen, I got you, I believe her because she does. And you have. Thank you to everybody who assisted, even though it was out of your control, what sentence she got. Because pleading, I'm throwing myself on the mercy of the court, gave her such a small sentence. And a homicide is a homicide. The charges, the sentence did not fit the charges. Like, honestly, they have not caught up with the times. And in the meantime, who raised my grandson? His only child. Like, who's there for me? My security. And I don't mean top flight. Who's there? Who there to hold me up and be my support and my backbone? I'm Karon Green Smith. My son walked me down the aisle and gave me away to his daddy. And the next year we claimed him on our anniversary. How fair is that for him to be chopped down in the prime of his life after saving my life so many times in San Antonio? To say, Mama, I see light at the end of the tunnel, and know it was heaven. And to say that my son's life was worth officially 4 months and 2 days in county jail. It's just ridiculous. It's even more a slap in the face. It's like a timeout. I want to shine a light on that. Like, a homicide should reflect homicide sentencing. Throwing yourself on the mercy of the court, or saying no contest, complying with their rules and obligations, is not a reward to allowing you to be released at an earlier time. Because my son is gone. And I didn't feel like I had nobody until they gave me her. So thank you to you and your team who have supported me when I couldn't stand. I'm going to do you proud. I'm going to do Marcus proud. But I want to shout from the rooftops how unfair this is. And I just want my baby back. And I'm not going to get that, so I'm going to shout how unfair this ruling was. And I want to advocate for change. Somebody, anybody, do something. Thank you.
Ms. Green, thank you for that. That was a lot of courage for you to come up here and give us the message that you're going to advocate for change. And we all appreciate hearing that message. We're now going to move to a presentation of certificates and awards. This is a tradition we've had here at the District Attorney's Office in Contra Costa County for many years. And we ask our staff, our attorneys, our clerical staff, our victim witness advocates, our investigators, our case preparation assistants, and our legal assistants. Who do you see out there that's making a difference? And we get great nominations, and everybody that's nominated is deserving, and we try to come up with who this year should be specially recognized. So we're going to call some of those people up. We're going to start with one of our law enforcement award winners, and that's Detective Johnathan Elmore from Pittsburg Police. Please come up. I know. I warned Detective Elmore he was going to come up here and speak, but I'm a lawyer. I got to talk first for a while, right? Come on. No, I just want to read to you. We got a couple nominations from just different people about Detective Elmore, so I want to let you know a little bit about him. One nomination read, Detective Johnathan Elmore was the investigating detective in the hit-and-run crash that killed 17-year-old Brooke Jeffrey. The crash happened as Brooke walked across the street to meet her mother for a school meeting. Sadly, Brooke never made it across the street, and she died within inches of her school. Brooke's mother was inside the school waiting for her daughter to arrive so they could complete paperwork for an upcoming field trip to Washington, D.C. Brooke's family was heartbroken, along with a community of family, friends, students, and teachers. Brooke's mother was devastated and couldn't deal with the funeral arrangements. The California Victim Compensation Board's new policy requires victims to file a car insurance claim before a funeral burial can be paid by CalVCB. That's the Victims Compensation Board. A victim would have to open a claim through their own car insurance, and if the offender had car insurance, a claim would have to be opened through that insurance as well. And Brooke's mother was too heartbroken to open a claim with the offender's car insurance. I asked Detective Johnathan Elmore if he could do it on the family's behalf, and he did it right away, even connecting me to the claim adjuster. Through his hard work and determination, the funeral cost was covered by Cal VCB. The Cal VCB staff was very impressed with Detective Johnathan Elmore's actions. George Prano is a supervising claims specialist at Cal VCB and said he had never seen a detective open a claim on the family's behalf. When I asked Detective Johnathan Elmore, he humbly responded he was just doing his job. Through hard work and determination, the Pittsburgh Police Department captured the defendant who attempted to cover up his crime. And thanks to Detective Johnathan Elmore and others, Brooks' family will get justice. And as I said, that wasn't the only nomination we received. Others included notes that said he is always quick to respond to our email request. He's always ready to step in, and he always is ready to help when it comes to helping victims with Cal VCB applications. So today we'd like to honor Detective Johnathan Elmore.
Well, thank you all very much for having me. I am honored that the District Attorney's Office would nominate me and award me with this honor. But most importantly, I would like to thank the victim advocates for all that you guys do. Ultimately, I would not be made aware of the insurance claim or the other things that we need to do, because oftentimes as law enforcement, we're so caught up in everything we have to do, we lose sight of the victims and their needs and what they need. So you guys are the in-between, and it really helps us when you're working with us. So thank you all for what you do. I see you in the courtrooms, in the hallways. You're with the victims all the time, and it really means a lot. It's why we do what we do as cops. You know, I end up investigating a lot of horrible things, and it has an impact on me and my family and everything we do on a day-to-day basis. But ultimately, each time I'm able to sit down with the victims of crime and look them in the face and say, we got the bad guy that hurt you and your loved ones, it's all worth it. And it lights a fire in me to keep doing what I do. If I can get a little bit of justice for these people, it makes it all worth it. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
We have one more law enforcement award, and to start this one off, I'm going to introduce Deputy District Attorney Brianna Goodfellow.
I like to think that people become police officers because they want to help others and better their communities. They want to pursue justice, just like we all do in this line of work. What I don't think they always realize is just how much power and responsibility that they're bestowed in that honor. Most police officers do a good job. They get called to an emergency, they do what they can to help, they take witness statements, write reports, submit the cases to us for filing, and show up to court when they're subpoenaed to testify. But there are a select few who believe deep in their core that good isn't good enough. They strive to be great. Detective J. Melen embodies what it means to be a truly great police officer. And last summer, I got to witness that firsthand. One day in June, I got a handoff preliminary hearing from a colleague. When I got a hold of the file, I skimmed the reports and the charging document and ascertained that the defendant in this case was accused of defrauding his late wife, Kate's estate. I thought, simple enough, and began preparing the preliminary hearing like I would any other case. Then I got a call from Detective Melen. I assumed he just wanted a heads up on what kind of questions I would be asking him during our hearing when I called him as a witness. But instead, he took the time to explain why he, a homicide detective at the time, was assigned to this fraud case. He informed me of the suspicious circumstances surrounding Kate's death and explained the dynamics of all of the family members that were involved in the investigation. Ultimately, the evidence supported charges of grand theft and forgery, And at that point, Detective Melen could have passed this case on to any other detective in the property crimes unit or some other unit so that he could focus his attention on his homicide caseload. Truthfully, I don't think anyone would have blamed him for doing that. But as I'm sure you're all guessing, good is not good enough for Detective Melen. The following day, he showed up to the hearing with Kate's family, and collectively we all discussed the possibility of resolving the case with a plea deal. Detective Melen stuck around for several hours to provide support for the family while I went back and forth trying to negotiate this resolution. We decided to come back to court about a month later for a sentencing hearing, and Detective Melen mentioned that he wanted to come. And it was a month away, things happen, people get busy, police officers don't usually always come to sentencing hearings, so I wasn't really expecting him to follow through. But true to form as a great police officer, he showed up early. He stuck around all morning waiting for the case to be called in the department. And then he came back after lunch and sat in court as several of the victims' family members made impact statements, and he was there to support them through it all. Truthfully, I don't think it takes much more effort to go from a good police officer to a great one. Sometimes all it takes is a little extra compassion. No matter how many chances Detective Melen had to hand off this case to somebody else and get back to his duties, he didn't. And that's what sets him apart. His passion and commitment persisted, and he stayed with this family every step of the way, pursuing justice in a non-traditional but arguably more important way than testifying at a preliminary hearing or getting a guilty verdict at trial. Sometimes it's easy to forget why those of us who work in this criminal justice system do this job, but Detective Melen's actions on this case serve as a reminder to what we and I strive to do every day, which is seek justice on behalf of the victims of crimes, especially the ones who can no longer speak for themselves. Detective Melen gave Kate a voice in this case, and I'm honored to have nominated him for this award. Thank you for all that you do and for being an exceptional police officer, and congratulations on this well-deserved award. Thank you. And I would like to briefly invite up Kate's family members, her sister Jennifer, and Jennifer's husband John, to say a few words as well.
Thank you, Brianna. And thank you, everyone, for being here today. I'll try to get through this without crying. We'll see how that goes. I want to start to say how happy I am to be here for such a happy reason, compared to the reasons we've been here before. And I'm so happy, Jay, that I could give you a hug and congratulate you in person for receiving this award. What an honor. You absolutely deserve it. Everything that Brianna said and more. I could go on, but I won't, but I just want to say thank you. And the words, outstanding, above and beyond, making a difference, they so aptly describe who you are and what you do. Thank you for everything that you did for us and everything you do for everybody else to help. Thank you specifically for all that you've done for my family to pursue justice for my sister Kate and our family. You have no idea what a gift you've been to us during this agonizing process. Words can't adequately express my gratitude for your compassion, quiet strength, perseverance, and resolve. You've been a sounding board, an advocate, a compassionate listener, and a champion. Your presence with us in court provided incredible comfort, strength, and closure. It was like having a friend or a family member there, and that's what we consider you. Thank you for being there for us, Jay. I have no doubt that God brought you to us, and I'm so forever grateful for your diligent work on our behalf. May God bless you and your family, and again, congratulations, Jay.
Before I say what I want to say about Jay, I want to thank you. I'm so sorry for your loss. And I thank you for representing us so well. You have no idea how spot on your words were for our family. Thank you. And Brianna, you nailed it. Just her acknowledgement of Jay's efforts on our behalf were incredible. And, you know, when we started down this path to seek justice, to be honest, I had just about given up hope that our family would see any. And then Jay. And he did not let go. And I'm so glad you made the point, because I was going to make it. And I will again. He's a homicide detective. And you used a word, Alana. Believed. We were believed. And he knew this was far greater than the charges that could be brought in this case. Because of some early mistakes made by officers, it was an impossible case for him to bring. But he didn't let go because of that. And he brought us a level of justice that we will never, ever forget. And thank you for it. And then just lastly, Brianna was a godsend as well. She took this case, and you articulated it so well. We kind of fully had the nervousness of it being dismissed as, why is this even here? But she took the time to read the case file that you so eloquently put together on our behalf. And she believed us. Thank you, too.
Shannon said peer pressure as far as speaking, so I guess I'll say something real quick. The wet eyes and runny nose are allergies, I promise. You know, when we do this, when we get into this line of work, we don't do it for the accolades. Obviously, it's very appreciated, but we do it for the victims and the people that don't have a voice. We do it for them. This was a difficult case. The resolution wasn't what we wanted, but you know, at least we got something. So I appreciate all the kind words. After the sentencing, I got together with the family and we spoke about how the case ending up with Brianna and the judge at the end was the best thing that could have happened for everybody. So once again, I appreciate all the kind words. Appreciate the recognition, and thank you very much.
Now we're moving to a different area of support for our victims and survivors, and that's our Making a Difference Award. And this year, we'd like to honor Karina Gomez of the Family Justice Center. Before you speak, I have a few things to say about Karina. The nomination for Karina reads, I am nominating Family Justice Center navigator Karina Gomez. Karina works at the East location and is such an amazing person and navigator. She is always available and ready to help any victim that I refer over to her. She goes above and beyond to contact victims and connect with them. She works diligently with victims to get them connected to resources in our community and follows up with clients to ensure that their needs are being met. She does her work with a caring, positive attitude. I have worked closely with her during my time at the East Family Justice Center and thoroughly enjoy collaborating with her. Karina, congratulations.
I'm glad I get a moment to speak because I always have extra words. I think, like many that are up here, I just want to say that I'm really honored, and I can humbly say that I wasn't expecting it. I think when you do the work and it's not looked as work, it's looked as what is right to do, you do it, and you do it very open-heartedly and very deeply. I do what I do with so much passion because I'm a survivor myself. Survivor of DV, survivor of homicide, and I know exactly what it feels like to feel so alone and how much of a difference having support can make in someone's experience, journey, and ultimately the outcome of their well-being. I know that feeling support will make a person want to feel like it's okay to feel, like it's okay to continue after feeling so much pain. And what I try to do is be there in support, and sometimes we don't have all the answers. Sometimes we don't have the control for resources or to be able to give you what you're looking for, what you need in that moment or in that day. But I think being there to at least to listen and to be able to give a little bit of piece of light and ultimately never lose hope of something that is yet better to come, and ultimately for your well-being to feel a little bit better is what I think is more and more important to do. And I'm just really, really grateful. I'm honored. I think that nothing could be done without the help of many. But I do believe that it starts within ourselves. So it takes a lot of us to really be able to put in work and make a difference in so many victims' lives. But I think it ultimately starts within ourselves to make sure we are doing the right thing and we're doing it with our hearts. Just takes, I think, a little bit of extra empathy, care, and just genuine love. And thank you, everyone, for everything that you do and for getting up every day and trying to make the best of the day. Thank you.
Why does the microphone always end up much lower when I come up here? I think your microphone's broken and it keeps falling down. I'm not sure what the story is. I now want to recognize the winner of our award for going above and beyond. And this year, our recipient is Vanessa Velarde of the International Rescue Committee. Vanessa. Congratulations. Here's the nomination we received for Vanessa. Vanessa works, you'll see in context here, in the area of human trafficking. I met Vanessa a couple years ago when she was assisting me with a survivor that was homeless and trying to get out of the life. This survivor was very combative at times, but was always reacting out of stress. Vanessa understood the dynamics the survivor was facing and was always patient with her. Although contact was lost for almost 8 months, once the survivor was back in our sights for trial, Vanessa was ready and willing to jump right back into helping our survivor get back on track. She stuck to her word, something that is very important when working with victims of trafficking, and was able to help our survivor find affordable housing. That survivor is currently holding down a job and living on her own because Vanessa was persistent in finding her housing, going as far as cold calling apartment complexes in the Bay Area until she found one that would work with her. Vanessa is an amazing resource to survivors of human trafficking, and I'm happy to have her as part of our team. Congratulations, Vanessa.
First, I just want to say thank you to the team here at Contra Costa. I have the pleasure of working in 31 counties with survivors, and we say that lovingly because we're not victims anymore, we're survivors. However, with that being said, I am blessed with this team here in Contra Costa. Above and beyond, your team here in Contra Costa is immeasurable. I can call any one of the advocates, anybody, the administration, and ask for help. And y'all, even after hours, not that I work after hours, we're Monday through Friday, and they're there for me. It really is an amazing partnership that we have. And I look so forward to working with everybody here in Contra Costa every time I get the call, every time I get the referral. And the survivor that we're talking about in this case, she did the work. I was just there to help her up when she forgot how to stand. Survivors are the ones that do it. Us as treatment service providers are just there to help them through. So I humbly accept this award. Thank you so much, everybody. I mean, I'm speechless, and I believe my comment when I found out about it was, "Are you punking me?" Where's Ashton Kutcher? That was something my supervisor and I go back and forth about. But thank you so much. I am truly, humbly honored. Thank you.
Next up, we have the Special Courage Award, and to help me with that introduction, I would like to introduce Deputy District Attorney Amy Bailey.
And I'm going to wait for my crime-fighting partner, Detective David Boucher from Concord Police Department. Today, the two of us are accepting this award on behalf of Jane Doe because she couldn't be here with us today. I asked Detective Boucher to be here with me because he not only helped on this case and was a detective for this matter, but he also has helped over the past 2 years helping victims of domestic violence in Concord. And I actually nominated him for the highly sought-after law enforcement award, and so I wanted to make sure he was up here because Jane Doe wouldn't be winning this award without his hard work, his attention to detail, and his help in prosecuting that case. Jane Doe is a single mother of a lovely little girl who survived a 5-year relationship with a vicious abuser. Even after she ended that relationship, even after she moved literally thousands of miles away to escape him, the abuse continued. She was made to feel vulnerable, she was isolated, she was made to feel responsible for what he did to her. And she worked really hard, thousands of miles away from him, to escape that abuse, to move forward and forge ahead. She started a new job and a whole new career. She sent her daughter to a new school. She started counseling. And together they slowly started to build back the pieces of their life. And then I subpoenaed her to testify at trial against her abuser. And just as I did that, the stalker, her abuser, decided to re-up his stalking efforts, to renew his efforts, and even going so far as to, in the days before trial, mail her a letter from jail addressed to the baby that they lost when they were together. Just truly cruel and vicious and callous behavior, all in an attempt to get her to do exactly the opposite of what she did, which is come to that courthouse for 2 long days and testify against him and explain to the jury what the cycle of domestic violence is, how it feels, and how she had to work so hard to escape it. And when I told her that I had nominated her for this award and ultimately that she won it, she sent me an email, and there's something in that I just really wanted to share. She said, while she'd like to be referred to as Jane Doe for anything publicly, she's really excited to have a certificate with her real name on it. She said, I would like that certificate. I could use the visual reassurance that I made the right choices. And so this award that we're going to hand her, it's not just a piece of paper, and I think that's really important. This ceremony, this kind of week of acknowledgement of victims is so, so important, even for those who have already been along the long road of surviving. And what I hope that Jane Doe knows is that for me, and I'm sure for Detective Boucher and all of the rest of us who work in this line of work, Jane Doe's experience, her story and her survival is a reassurance to me, and it's what motivates me, and it should motivate us all. And so thank you for awarding this to Jane Doe. I covered up her name on the award for now, but it does have her real name, and I'm sure she'll display it proudly.
We have one more Special Courage Award we want to acknowledge today, and to help me with that, I will ask my colleague, Deputy District Attorney Whitney Goins.
Good morning, everyone. It is with great honor that I am standing here today on behalf of Miss Cassidy Williams, a young woman of great courage, strength, and resilience. This was hands down one of the worst cases of human trafficking, sexual assault, domestic violence, and torture that I have had over the course of my career. When I was first assigned this case, I could not believe what I had read, that one human being can do this to another. I had the opportunity prior to the preliminary hearing to meet with Ms. Williams and sit down with her and speak with her about what happened to her. She was very forthcoming about the details. The next day, she came in to testify at the preliminary hearing in a suit. And she told me that she was channeling her inner Whitney. And she was going to go and testify. She testified at the preliminary hearing. Excellent. I was so proud of her after she testified. I had to call her to testify at the trial as well. And I asked her about whether or not I can share some of the details about what happened to her. And she approved. And I think it's important that you all understand the details because she is the true definition of a survivor. She was beat for 25 hours by her ex-boyfriend with his fists, with his feet. He whipped her with the flat iron cord. He stabbed her. He sliced her. He gagged her, all while she was handcuffed. All this happened over the course of 25 hours. But she was able to escape. She was able to get away. How she was able to get away was he handcuffed her to his headrest in his vehicle. And before he got out of the vehicle, he told her, "I'm not finished with you. When we get home, I'm going to continue to beat you." And at that time period, Miss Williams knew that she had to survive. She knew that she couldn't take any more. She had reached the point to where she was barely conscious. So after he got out of the car, she figured out a way to take the headrest off of the car, the seat. And she tried to go inside of the store to ask for help. And as soon as she did, he forced her to the ground, continued to punch her, and dragged her all the way outside to his car. With the little bit of strength that Miss Williams had left, she was able to hold on to the tire. A survivor, a true survivor. And eventually he was able to give up. And last month, she had to testify again in front of her abuser and 12 jurors of this community. She had to talk about all of those gruesome details that I just described to you, and she did it. Cassidy Williams is a survivor, a true survivor. Over this past year, she has taken great strides to overcome not only the psychological effects of her abuse, but also the physical effects. But she has a very supportive family, her mom and father that are here today. And they have demonstrated a tremendous amount of strength and patience with her to assist her with eating and helping her to regain her confidence. Ms. Williams has since taken steps to enroll in college and has consistent appointments with her therapist. And she now wants to go to law school. I am so proud of Ms. Williams and the woman that she is and has become. And I have no doubt in my mind that she will be successful in her future. She is more than deserving of the Special Courage Award. Thank you.
Hi. I wasn't prepared to say anything, but I did want to thank Whitney. I do believe that she deserves to win this award, or a award in general. I really wish these circumstances weren't why we were here, but The thing I do want to say is I think love isn't supposed to hurt. My mom always tells me that. And if you love yourself and put yourself first, everything else in your life will fall into place. Thank you to my parents and Jay, who's here to support me today. And most importantly, thank you, Whitney, for nominating me. I didn't even expect this. I thought that this was all going to kind of just roll under the rug and be something that gets forgotten about. But to know I wasn't forgotten means the world to me. I'm kind of shaking and disheveled, but thank you guys. I want to say thank you to Detective Whitaker as well for all the help before Whitney took over. And thank you all for being here. The words and the energy here is really beautiful. So thank you guys.
Our last award today will be presented by my colleague, Deputy District Attorney Chris Sanso. This is the Elevating Survivor Voices Award. Chris?
Hello, my name is Chris Sanso. I'm a Deputy District Attorney in Contra Costa County, assigned to the Sexual Assault and Child Abduction Unit. The final award for today, Elevating Voices of Survivors, will not be shown. The recipients of these awards have asked to remain confidential and anonymous due to the sensitive subject nature of their case and of why this award has been received. Thank you.
That is going to conclude our ceremony today, but before we conclude, I have to give one last acknowledgement. Is now a good time, Bev, to do that? One of the people that makes all this happen for us every day and makes my job the great job that it is our Director of Victim Assistance Program, and that is Shannon Mahoney, and we want to acknowledge her one more time. Thanks, Shannon.
We were not supposed to do this, but most of you know I don't follow rules very well. Let me just say that Shannon exemplifies the word leader in so many different ways. She advocates for victims from the very bottom of her toes to the very top of her head. She manages us. She has her own caseload. She is there late. She is here early. We could not do what we do without her leadership. We could not do what we do without her support. Many days you can walk by her office and we're all in there like little children because our feelings are hurt. And she lets us know you can do hard things. We don't give up. If our victims don't give up, you don't give up. And we wipe our tears and we walk to our offices and we do our damn jobs. And I would not be a human being without letting you know that every single day when I wake up, I think about how I can be more like you. I was a cop for 18 years, and I've only done this for 10. And this has been literally the most rewarding job I've ever done because of her. And she makes it easy, she makes it effortless, and we love her with more than I could ever explain to you, but I would not be okay without you guys knowing she is everything to us.
Thank you all for coming. Wasn't this just a great event? I want to just thank everybody that was here. I think it was Cassidy who said the energy in the room, right? It's like it's pretty amazing, right? It makes it all worthwhile what we do. So please join us now back in our conference room and our community room. We've got some refreshments there, and we can take some more pictures and thank everybody that was here today. Thanks everyone.